Okay.
Hi, Sandy. Hi, Rosie. Hi, guys. Sherby, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, guys. We are going to start where we left off yesterday. Is it raining? Sherby's opening the blind. Oh, I was looking. Cool. It was really sunny. Now it's really dark and cloudy. We're supposed to have thunderstorms tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to be reading in the New International Version, in case you want to follow along. And we are going to read where we left off yesterday, starting with Mark chapter 6, reading verses 30 through verse 56 today. Starting with Jesus feeds the 5,000. How in the world could Jesus feed 5,000? Was Jesus rich? Was he? No, he wasn't. Not rich in money. So how does he feed 5,000 people? Well, let's see. Because some of you guys, of course, heard this in Matthew, but if you have not been following our Bible readings, you will get to hear it now. You okay? The apostles, which is also the disciples, sometimes they're called apostles, sometimes they're called disciples, but it's the 12 that Jesus chose. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. Because remember, yesterday we talked about how Jesus had sent out the 12 to heal people and to drive out demons and such. So they had been doing that, and then they came back to tell Jesus about it. Then because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot. Listen. Because I'm going to have a point about this in a minute. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. Where were all these people then when people were shouting for who to be released, Barabbas or Jesus? Where were all these people then? Is this the way it had to be done? Is this the way it had to be? So Jesus could give up his life for us. So I'll continue. This makes no sense to me. How the people could do that. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them. He had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. He had compassion on them. They were sheep without a shepherd, and he became their shepherd. So where was his sheep when the shepherd needed help? Where was his sheep? Not just from these towns, but from all the towns he went, and that people followed him from. I'll stop there because I'll go on forever if I don't. Alright, so Jesus began teaching them many things. By this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. "This is a remote place," they said, "and it is already very late. Send the people away so they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages to buy themselves something to eat." But Jesus answered, "You give them something to eat." They said to him, "That would take more than half a year's wages. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat?" "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus asked. "Go and see." Then they found out. They said, 5 and 2 fish. So 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. That's what they had with them. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven. Jesus gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to his disciples to distribute them to the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. 5,000 people. 5,000. From 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish now. They all ate and were satisfied. They all ate and were satisfied. All 5,000 plus Jesus and his disciples. Not including women and children. We're just talking about the men. The women and children ate also. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish that were left over. The number of the men who had eaten was 5,000, not including women and children. Oh, my nose is stuffy and runny, I'm sorry. Jesus walks on water. This one I really enjoy. Immediately, Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. After leaving them, he went up to a mountainside to pray. Because Jesus liked to pray in a solitary place. He liked to pray alone to his Father. That's what I tell you guys is best, I think, in my opinion, is best to do. Of course, you can pray in groups as well, and, at church and everything, but I think one-on-one time with God is really, really important. Because some people just like to pray in front of a lot of people to, make themselves look good. I'm not saying everybody that does that is doing that by any means. I'm just saying some people do. But I think one-on-one time, regardless, with you and your Father in heaven and Jesus, your brother, is very, very essential to a good Christian life. And to getting to knowing the Lord better. After leaving them, he went up on a mountainside to pray. Later that night, the boat was in the middle of the lake, and Jesus was alone on land. He saw the disciples straining at the oars because the wind was against them. Shortly before dawn, he went out to them, walking on the lake. He was about to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the lake, they thought he was a ghost. They cried out because they saw him and were terrified. I mean, how could they not be, thinking a ghost is coming right at you, Immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." Then he climbed into the boat with them, and the wind died down. They were completely amazed, for they had not understood about the loaves. Their hearts were hardened. So Jesus performed miracles with the bread and fish, but they could not understand, what really had happened, because their hearts were hardened towards it. And I say that's what happened with the people when it came time for them to pick either Jesus or Barabbas to be released. And the people's hearts were hardened, and a lot of them were frightened. And I think that's what happened there as well, because it had to be this way. When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret and anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout the whole region and carried the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into villages, towns, or countryside, they placed the sick in the marketplaces. They begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. You think Jesus walking by all them people, they'd all be running up to him, grabbing a hold of him, trying to touch him, so they could be healed. I mean, you think Jesus would have been trampled on, with all the herds of people coming up attacking him. It's like, like, like he was just like a celebrity at that time, and I guess the disciples probably had to be his bodyguards somehow. But of course, he was the Son of God, so he wasn't going to get trampled anyway. But I'm just saying, But that's where we're going to stop with Mark today, guys. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I haven't done my nose spray today. We are going to start Psalm 40 today. We finished up Psalm 39 yesterday, and today we are going to read Psalm 40, verses 1 through verse 10. For the director of music of David, a psalm. Beautiful Psalm of David. Whose favorite is that? Whose favorite is the Psalm of David's? I love it. Forgot to charge my phone last night, so if I don't reply to messages today, I'm sorry. I'll try to get on the computer like I am now and go to Facebook later and respond to some, but like I said, my phone is dying and I usually use it because it's easier and faster. But sorry about that. I hardly ever remember or do not forget to plug it in. Let's get started with Psalm 40. I waited patiently for the Lord. Just listen. Close your eyes. Open your heart. And listen to the beautiful words that David is speaking. Listen to the way he talks to the Lord. David, God said of David is a man after his own heart. God loved David. And David loved the Lord. And you can see by his words to God how much he trusted in the Lord and how much he loved the Lord. Close your eyes, open your hearts, and listen to the song. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, who does not look to the proud, to those who turn aside to false gods. Many, Lord, my God, are the wonders you have done, the things you planned for us. None can compare with you. Were I to speak and tell of your deeds, they would be too many to declare. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but my ears you have opened. Burnt offerings and sin offerings you did not require. Then I said, here I am. I have come. It is written about me in your scroll. I desire to do your will, my God. Your law is within my heart. I proclaim your saving acts in the great assembly. I do not seal my lips, Lord, as you know. I do not hide your righteousness in my heart. I speak of your faithfulness and your saving help. I do not conceal your love and your faithfulness from the great assembly. You may open your eyes now, because that was just part of Psalm 40 that we're reading today. Was not that beautiful? Could you imagine yourself feeling that way about the Lord and talking to the Lord like that, just pouring your heart out completely to the Lord? Like he is your father, your best friend, your father, because he is your father. Just like talking to your father that you're very, very close to, a truly loving father that would do anything in the world for you. and loves you more than anybody ever possibly could. It's like you're at total peace with talking to your Father in heaven, and you trust Him wholeheartedly. You know you can tell Him anything, the good and the bad, because you know He already knows it anyway. Alright guys, we are going to end today's Bible reading with Proverbs chapter 10, reading verses 11 and 12. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers all things. Wait. I messed that up, sorry. I was going to read it again anyway because I love this part. Hatred stirs up conflict. Hatred stirs up arguments and fights. But love, not just love like for a spouse, but love for your neighbor. Like Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. But love covers over all wrongs. Hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers over all wrongs. If somebody done something wrong to you, and you return to them instead of them expecting you to revenge them, getting prepared for you to fight back, you don't do that. You just show them love. Show them even more love. They will not know what to expect. They will be like, why are they acting like this when I just threatened their life and tore up their barn, or destroyed their land and killed their animal, whatever. How can they love me still? How can they love me for that? And, they will see that whatever they do, you're just going to return it with love, and you may take that person's hardened heart and just soften it a little. It may take a long time, but it'll gradually soften until their heart is hardened no more. And some other people, it won't work on because they are just pure evil. Their hearts are just evil, and there's no helping them at all. But no matter what, you still should not be evil to them. Whether they are evil or not, you should still show them love. You should show everybody love. But it doesn't mean you should be around a person that you know is evil. You should really steer clear of them. But if you have to come into contact with them, love is always the best answer regardless. Treat them as you would want them to treat you. Always. Love your neighbor as yourself. Those are Jesus' words, not mine. All praise and thanks and glory goes to God our Father and our brother Jesus, forever and always. Alright guys, that was today's Bible reading. I hope it touched your guys' hearts. I thought it was a good Bible reading today. We haven't come to my favorite psalm yet. I'm waiting to come to it so I can tell you what my favorite psalm is, but we haven't read it yet. Prayer requests are still the same. I haven't heard any new updates. Still waiting to hear updates on Chris. Haven't heard anything. Abby messaged him, but Chris, he didn't, really say anything. Like, nothing's really happened, I guess. So, and I haven't heard anything about Barb. Nobody has messaged me and told me anything, and I don't know what's going on there. Melly, my sister, made a video to send to her, but it would not let me see it. So I think she's got me blocked somehow. And Kelly, our friend and sister in Christ, who was Melly's friend, how she got messages to me, she has blocked Kelly from messaging her. But Kelly could see the videos, but I could message, but I couldn't see the videos. So I don't know what's going on there. But we never done nothing. All we did was say, we're praying for your mom and stuff, and I told her I was here for her and that I loved her. She asked me to make a piece. She asked me if I wanted to make a clip for her mom to put in the video, and I said, yes, I do. Because I was, wanting, because this is when we thought she was going to pass away. I was wishing I could be up there to hold her hand and tell her some stuff in private. So I wanted to tell her, get it off my chest and tell her why I thought I had the chance in the video. And I asked her, I said, what about Abby and Jimmy? Because, me and Mindy are Barb's stepchildren, but still, and Abby and Jimmy belong to Mindy, my sister, but they've known Barb all their lives just like we have. She's always been grandma to them. And I told Abby, or my mom wouldn't let me tell Abby because Abby was sick, so I wasn't allowed to talk to her. And I guess Melly already made the video. I don't know. I haven't heard from nobody. And Sherm's appointment is tomorrow, the 24th, yes, to get his ultrasound on his prostate and bladder and his whole round of blood work. So please keep him in your prayers. Pray for good news, please. Something that can be fixed. Something that's not going to, be life-threatening or be really horribly, bad. I would really very much appreciate it. We both would appreciate the prayers. Please pray for my Aunt Cindy. She is sick again, and her back and legs are both hurting her so bad. She can barely stand up or do anything, and she's really sick, just freezing and feels horrible. She had my uncle at the doctor yesterday, so she thinks she picked up something, but she's really sick, so please keep her in your prayers. And please keep our dear friend and sister in Christ, Sandy, in your prayers for strength and comfort, for she has to go through a lot. And please keep April and Linda Thacker in your prayers, because both of them have a lot of health problems. And they both got tests and procedures and stuff coming up, so please keep them in your prayers. They always need prayers. So with that being said, that is the prayers and the updates that I got for you guys today. Sorry, no updates. I will let you guys know in a video whenever I get any. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. Let's bring those souls to Jesus. And God willing, I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys. God bless.